Good morning. I'm on my way up to the vegetable garden because I found some weeds. Sometimes weeds are not always weeds. Let me show you what I mean. This is supposed to be my vegetable garden. It is my vegetable garden. Oops. I say every year this is going to be the food garden and that is going to be the cutting garden. And every year I have too many flowers and end up planting half of the space full of flowers and then stuffing my vegetables in wherever I have room. But this year I made a plan, and I was going to stick to that plan until my flowers decided to self-seed all over my vegetable garden. Now I'm not mad about that because I can move them. I might leave a couple just in case, but what I'm going to deal with today is Orchid. Now last year this grew in this spot, and it grew to about 6 feet tall. It has gorgeous, gorgeous little seed pods that I was using as bouquet filler. And this color is lovely. I have some of this. I have some green ones as well. And the seed packet I got last year was called Caramel Apple Mix. I had 2 that were green and 2 that were this dark, beautiful dark burgundy color, which I really loved. So by the looks of it, I have probably 24 seedlings, and I'm going to move the strongest ones out front where I have a large, let's call that the overflow cutting garden. That's mostly going to be direct seeded zinnias and sunflowers, but I think these will work really well in that space because they get nice and big. So I've put a little bit of water in this tray. I'm going to attempt to lift these out with as much root as possible. And this is fantastic because they've popped up on their own. They are already hardened off. They may not even realize they've been moved. Don't want any of this moss. It was so wet last year, which is very unusual for us in the summer. So we have a lot of this moss growth here in the vegetable garden. But my priority has been the cutting garden. The vegetable garden is mostly going to be planted next week. Oh, there's another little green one. We have 3 of those now. Beautiful little plant. Speaking of vegetables, the asparagus is coming up. Don't look behind there, you can tell where I stopped weeding. I had some of that for lunch yesterday. It's so good when it's picked fresh. We've also planted some peas. There is some broccolini back there, and a whole bunch of things that have been direct seeded. There's some beets and lettuce way up there at the front. This row looks bare, but there's carrots, and I've put in some onion sets, and they are just starting to grow. So there's 2 rows that are full, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Apparently catgrass is a perennial. That's what is over there, which needs to get moved. Now this is another self-seeded filler. This is Persian Crest, which I love. And I don't dare move it because it's getting ready to flower, which means it's going to come out in 2 to 3 weeks anyway. So I'm leaving that as is because I won't need to plant things like peppers and summer squash until this is ready to come out. So that is going to be allowed to stay, but now let's go plant that Orchid. I'm so excited for this. I even saved seed from my own plant. Last year I really did want to start some, but I just ran out of time and space. It just didn't quite make it to the top of the priority list. And now I have beautiful plants to plant out. So there's already some perennials in here that we're going to take a look at when I film the garden tour in a couple of days, I think. But there's the spaces that I have prepared. There. I'm just gently placing these in, leaving the clumps exactly as they are. I'm going to plant the biggest clumps first, and we're going to hope that these guys don't even realize they've been moved. I think I'll put the green ones over here. Oh, I almost stepped on that one. Sorry, buddy. So these are big branching plants, but they have a bit of an airy look to them, which is nice. That means I can plant them close together and their branches can help support each other. And I'm just planting them exactly as they are. I don't have to worry about covering them. I don't have to worry about temperature. They grew and sprouted out here. Last night we actually had a frost. But as of now, the nighttime temperatures are going up significantly. which is going to help. We should start to see a big boost in growth of just about everything, which is fantastic. Oh, I almost kneeled on that one too. And it is sunny. Ideally, I wouldn't be doing this on a sunny day, but I only have an hour left in my day, and tomorrow I'm gone all day at a market. So we're doing this now, and I'll give them a water. That is 21, and last year I think I had 5. I actually have quite a bit of larkspur that's self-seeded in this front space. Now this is the cutting garden overflow. It was a low spot in my front yard that I just laid down cardboard and backfilled soil on top of it. It's going to work perfectly fine for now, and easy to seed over again if I decide I don't need it in the future. But we do have some larkspur that has seeded itself in here, which is great. There is cress everywhere. That is a cress, and these are all larkspur, which is why I put this stake here, and there's a lot of cress around that stake over there. And about half of this space is direct seeded zinnias and sunflowers. We don't have any popping up yet, but I'm watering it constantly and keeping my eye on that every day. It is so sunny today. I'm really happy to have that job done though. And it gives me ideas for next year, because anything that's just popping up on its own that's been easily self-seeded means that at the end of the season, right before winter or even in early spring, I can just toss that seed on the ground, wait for it to come up on its own, and have that many less seedlings and plants to take care of and harden off and water and plant out. It's, you know, so much easier, especially when you have so much that you want to plant. You just have to make sure that you mark and remember those areas so that you don't go and seed on top of them in early spring when you're getting overexcited about all of the new things that you want to grow. So I'm going to go and give those a thorough watering, and then I have a couple of more beds that I need to weed before I film a full garden tour for you guys tomorrow, or maybe the next day. Right, I have a market to do tomorrow. Definitely will be Thursday or Friday then, so hopefully you will see that on the weekend. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.